today, and we are working in our new headway book. Now, we have match the food and the pictures. Number one, what do we have here?
This looks like salad, teacher?
Maybe. How do we know that it's a salad?
It looks like tomatoes and lettuce.
Yeah. Tomatoes and lettuce would be a salad. And what do we have here?
This looks like cereal, teacher.
Ah, and how do we know what it is?
It's in a little bowl, and there's a packet. The packet is typical of a cereal packet. So that's what I think.
Sounds good. And what do we have here?
This looks like chicken, teacher.
How do we know that it's a chicken?
By the shape of it, and it looks like a roast chicken with the steam coming off it. Maybe it's just come out of the oven.
Now, these lines here, how do you know whether these mean that it's hot or that it just stinks?
Well, it probably does smell a bit, because cooked food usually smells a bit, and that illustrates the steam coming off of it. So now we know it's supposed to indicate to us that it is a hot chicken.
I suppose it can indicate heat or smell.
Heat, I think.
What is this?
This is a French roll of bread.
How do you know that it's bread?
Because I've been to the baker's, for some reason they call it a French stick. I don't know why, but I suppose in France they have bread like this, in the shape of a long stick.
Yes, they do. And what is this?
I think it's yogurt, teacher.
How do you know that it's yogurt?
Because it's white. There seems to be a lot of it. I wouldn't be able to eat that much yogurt.
And what is this?
It looks like seafood.
How do you know that it's seafood?
It's in the shape of prawns and mussels as well.
And what is this?
This is fish, teacher.
And how do you know that it's fish?
Because I went fishing once and my brother caught a fish and it looked just like that.
And what is this?
This is rice.
And how do you know that it's rice?
Well, the indications are the chopsticks and the white fluffiness in the background with the little lines indicating that it's supposed to tell us it's rice. So I'm pretty sure this is a bowl of rice with 2 chopsticks on top.
What is this?
Well, these are eggs, teacher.
And how do you know that they're eggs?
Because they're oval and they happen to be in egg cups.
Very good. Now we have...
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes.
Can we look at the key?
Yes, we can. We have salad, breakfast cereal, chicken, bread, yogurt, seafood, fish, rice, and eggs. Any questions?
So, number 1 is salad, number 2 is breakfast cereal, number 3 is chicken, number 4 is bread, number 5 is yogurt, number 6 is seafood, and number 7 is fish, and number 8 is rice, and number 9 is eggs. Is that right, teacher?
That is right. You identified every one of them correctly. You explained every one of them. I read the answers, then you read the answers. Very good. Now, we have 3 passages. One is about Masumi Takashi. One is about Richard Walty. One is about Fad al-Katani. As we look through each of these passages, we want to know which food is eaten, what he has for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, what time he eats, what he likes doing, when and where, what he would like to do, and whether he does any exercise. So, first we have Masumi Takahashi in Japan. How old is he?
He's 50, teacher.
He is 50. What city does he live in?
He lives in Tokyo, in Japan.
And where does he work?
He works in a bank.
He works in a bank, and now we have this delicious lunchbox here for him.
Oh,
with
yeah.
all these different kinds of vegetables and healthy foods. How fabulous.
Right.
It says, in Japan we eat rice at every meal. For breakfast we have rice, fish, and soup. At noon I have bento, which is a lunchbox. My wife makes this for me every day. There are small dishes of rice, fish, vegetables, eggs, and sometimes meat. In the evening, we have more fish made with beans I'd like to eat with my children. But I don't get home until 9. At the weekend, we like doing things together. We go for walks and have dinner. We eat lots of small dishes. We don't put a lot of food in our plate, so we don't eat too much. So, what do they eat in Japan at every meal?
They eat rice in
They
Japan at every meal.
What do they have for breakfast?
They have rice, fish, and soup.
What do they eat at noon?
They have this lunchbox, and it's called bento.
What is in the bento?
Small dishes of rice, fish, vegetables, eggs, and sometimes meat.
What do they have in the evening?
Oh, in the evening they have more fish, perhaps with beans.
What time does Matsu Shuju get home?
He gets home at 9 p.m.
What does he do with his family at the weekend?
They go for walks and have dinner.
Do they put a lot of food on their plate?
No, only small dishes.
Very good. So, let's think about these questions. Which food does he eat? Exercise 1.
Well, he eats fish and rice.
He eats fish and rice, yes. What does he have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
For breakfast, he has rice, fish, soup. For lunch, he has bento, which is a lunchbox, and it's made up of small dishes of rice, fish, vegetables, eggs, and sometimes meat. And in the evening, for dinner, they have more fish, maybe with beans.
What time does he eat?
Well, lunch is at midday, In the evening, they have dinner at 9 p.m.
What does he like doing? When and where?
Well, at the weekend, he likes to go for walks with his family.
What would he like to do?
What would he like to do? I don't know. Perhaps you can tell me.
I don't think he really talks about what he'd like to do, does he?
No.
Okay. Does he do any exercise?
I don't know, teacher.
He goes for walks. That's exercise.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Next we have Richard Welty. How old is he?
29.
29. Where does he live?
In Brooklyn, in New York.
In Brooklyn. And where does he work?
He works in a restaurant.
In a restaurant. It says, I eat little and early. I have toast and cereal for breakfast and salad for lunch at about 11:30. For dinner, I usually eat chicken, fish, or seafood. If I have a snack between meals, it's always fruit. I ride my bike to work across Brooklyn Bridge and run 10 kilometers a day. I'd like to run the New York Marathon this year. I'm a waiter, so I'm on my feet all day. Too many people in this country don't eat right. They say they don't have time to buy food and cook, so they snack all the time. At home I cook. At home I like cooking for my friends. For me, the dinner table is the center of the home. So, we have...
Teacher, what does that mean, center of the home?
Well, I think what he's saying is that it is an extremely important part of the home. I think what he's saying is that he enjoys cooking with his friends, or for his friends, and that when he invites them over, they all sit around the table, and that is his social life, right? His social life is very important to him. Having meals with people and having conversations with them over food is important to him. That is the most important thing that he does in his home.
Teacher, it says they snack all the time. What's that mean, they snack? What's that?
That means that they eat small amounts of food at a time. Usually, well, I think his wording here is implying that they're eating unhealthy foods like candy bars and small desserts and things like that all day long instead of actually cooking themselves a healthy meal.
What's a marathon, teacher?
A marathon is a very long running race. I believe it's 26.2 or 26.4 miles. Ooh, don't quote me on that. But it is one of the longest set races that people can possibly run.
What do you know about the Brooklyn Bridge, teacher?
The Brooklyn Bridge is in New York. It is a very old and very famous bridge across a waterway.
Why is Brooklyn Bridge famous, teacher?
Well, I heard a silly saying about people who were trying to sell other people parts of the Brooklyn Bridge. And basically it was just a silly trick, right? People would say things like, give me $100 and you can have part of the Brooklyn Bridge. I think that's really where it became famous. And then some silly people would say, okay. And of course they wouldn't be able to own part of the bridge. They wouldn't be able to put a toll booth on the bridge because they own part of it. But things like that that were just silly were being said. about the bridge.
I know something about this bridge.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you know how they built it?
How did they build it?
Well, what I heard, teacher, and don't quote me on this, is that when they were building the Brooklyn Bridge, it was very difficult to build, and it was being built by a man and his father. They were the chief engineers on the bridge. And one day the scaffolding, just as they started to build it, the scaffolding collapsed, and it struck the father on the head and killed him. And the son was also struck on the head, and he was virtually a vegetable, and they thought that they would never be able to build it because all the planning and all the insight was in the man's brain, his own knowledge, his own insight. And all he could move in the hospital was his index finger. But his wife was a scientist. And although this engineer could only move his index finger, his wife got him to work out code with her. And together they worked on a code, and he was able to communicate all the information needed through this code by using his index finger to his wife, and she was able to write the plans for the bridge, how to build it, and so they continued to build it. I think it's a fascinating story.
Sounds strange to me. I would think that if he was working on it and the scaffolding collapsed, then I would hire a more capable person who could design scaffolding that wouldn't collapse. But
it was just an accident, teacher.
Okay. Well,
but he knew exactly how it was to be built. They had the plans, but it was all in their heads.
Okay. I would also think that an architect or an engineer would write out the plans before construction would actually begin.
I suppose.
But I don't know my history of this bridge.
This is what I heard about this bridge, teacher.
It sounds like a strange story. I think that in general, whenever someone builds a bridge or a building or some other structure, that they actually do write out the plans they have. They don't just have the entire plan memorized.
Here it says, I'm a waiter, so I'm on my feet. What does it mean, I'm on my feet?
That means that he is standing or walking around all day long. He does not sit often in his job. He doesn't have a job where he is behind a desk at a computer all day long. He is walking around and talking to people and standing and whatnot.
Teacher, what's the difference between fish and seafood?
Nothing. Fish is a kind of seafood. So,
I thought seafood was like the fish that kind of crawl along on the seabed, whereas fish swim.
Fish do swim in the sea, and other animals like lobsters and shrimp and scallops can be found on the seabed.
Oh.
But as long as they're animals that live underwater, we call them seafood.
I see.
So a fish is a kind of seafood, but not all seafood is fish.
Right.
Now, does this man eat a lot?
He doesn't eat a lot.
No, he doesn't. Does he have a snack between meals?
Oh, I don't know, teacher.
He does. He says, if I have a snack between meals, it's always fruit, implying that at least sometimes he has snacks between meals.
Teacher, you said sometimes, and he said always.
He says, if I have a snack between meals, it's always fruit. So the word if in that sentence is our key. He does not always have a snack between meals, but when he does, which is not always, but is sporadic, it is fruit. Does he like to ride his bike?
I'm not sure, but I guess that he does.
He likes to ride across the Brooklyn Bridge. Does he ever go running?
Doesn't he run 10 kilometers a day?
He does. Does he think it's important to eat healthy food?
I should think he probably does, teacher.
Yeah, when he says too many people in this country don't eat right, I think he is implying healthy food is important. Does he like cooking for friends?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. Okay, why don't we look over our fails questions? Which food in exercise 1 does he eat?
He eats rice, fish, vegetables, eggs, sometimes meat. So here we've
He
got...
eats cereal, doesn't he? Toasted cereal for breakfast?
Oh, we're talking about this Mr. Welty.
Yeah.
Yeah, he eats toast and cereal. Sorry,
Breakfast?
I thought you meant the Japanese man.
No, we're looking at the American man.
Oh, okay.
Does he eat salad for lunch?
Yes, he does.
Yeah, he does. Okay. What does he have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
Well, for breakfast he has toast and cereal, and for lunch he has salad. It's quite early lunch. It's like 11:30.
What time does he eat?
11:30 for lunch.
11:30. What does he like doing?
He likes to ride his bike across the Brooklyn Bridge, and he runs 10 kilometers a day.
When does he do this?
When does he what?
When does he do this?
Well, every day.
Where does he do this?
In New York.
Right, across the Brooklyn Bridge. What would he like to do?
Well, I think he would like to run the marathon, the New York Marathon.
Yes, he would. Does he do any exercise?
He runs 10 kilometers a day.
And he rides his bike?
Yeah.
He's on his feet all day at work. Okay, very good. Now we have Thad Alcatani. How old is he?
He's 23, teacher.
Think again.
Oh, sorry. He's 32.
Where does he live?
He lives in Riyadh.
And where does he work?
He works in a hospital.
In a hospital, yes. He says, for breakfast, I have bread with cheese, eggs, yogurt, and tea. Lunch is at 2:30. It's usually a big meal with lots of different dishes. Perhaps some chicken or fish with rice, kabsa, vegetables, hummus, and tomato sauce. We drink fruit juice or water with the meal. We have dinner at 8. Traditionally, the evening meal was much smaller than lunch. But now it is the big meal of the day. Of course, during Ramadan, we eat just 2 meals. One before dawn and one after sunset. I'd like to eat out more often, but I don't have time. I live near the hospital, so I like walking to work. It's my only exercise. So, what does he have for breakfast?
Well, he has bread with cheese, eggs, yogurt, and tea.
Uh-huh. What time does he have lunch?
He has lunch at 2:30.
Uh-huh. What does he have for lunch?
Chicken or fish with rice, which is called kapsa, vegetables, hummus, and tomato sauce.
Yeah. What does he drink with it?
Fruit juice or water.
Uh-huh. When does he have dinner?
At 8 p.m.
He does. And what does he have for dinner?
Well, what he has is a big meal.
Uh-huh. What does he do during Ramadan?
Well, they eat just 2 meals, one before dawn and one after sunset.
Uh-huh. Does he like to eat out?
Yes, he does.
Yes. Does he have time to eat out?
Not really.
Uh-huh. And how does he get to work?
Does he walk?
Yeah. He enjoys walking to work. He says it's his only exercise. Okay. Let's take a look here. Which food in exercise 1 does he eat?
He eats fish, rice, soup, vegetables, eggs, sometimes meat.
Delicious. What does he have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
For breakfast, he has rice, fish, and soup. For lunch, he has bento, which is a lunchbox, with small dishes of rice, fish, vegetables, eggs, and sometimes meat.
Uh-huh.
In the evening, he has more fish, sometimes with beans.
Okay. And now, what does Mr. Al-Qahtani have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
He has for breakfast bread with cheese, eggs, yogurt, and tea.
Uh-huh.
And for lunch, he has a big meal, some chicken or fish with rice, which is called kapsa, vegetables, hummus, and tomato sauce. And in the evening, he has a big meal.
What time does he eat?
Well, lunch he has at 2:30 in the afternoon, and in the evening he has dinner at about 8 p.m.
What does he like doing?
He likes walking.
When does he do this?
I think when he goes to work.
And where does he go walking?
He walks to work.
What would he like to do?
He'd like to eat out more often.
And does he do any exercise?
Yeah, he walks.
He does. Now, we want to know what you think. Do these 3 people have a good diet?
I think they do.
Seems like they all are eating a well-balanced diet with proteins, carbohydrates, fruits and vegetables. Yes, I agree. Do they eat a lot?
I think they do. Well, a Chinese man, he doesn't eat so much, but he eats regularly.
I believe he's Japanese, but yes, he does eat small amounts of food on a regular basis. What do you eat in a day, and when?
Sometimes I eat tuna fish sandwich, which I mix with sweet corn and mayonnaise, and might make myself a tuna fish sarnie about midday, maybe have a toastie, have some coffee. Sometimes I eat steak, which I get from the supermarkets. It's quite a good price. So do some vegetables with steak and sometimes have some fruit afterwards. You know.
Would you like the food they eat in Japan or New York?
I think I'd probably like the food in New York, not so much sure about Japan.
And what suggestions can you make for a good diet? Do you think a person should eat lots of fruits?
Sorry, teacher?
Do you think a person should have lots of fruits?
Yes, I think so, yes.
How about vegetables?
Yes, no, definitely, yes.
Do you think a person should not have a lot of sugar?
Yeah, don't have too much sugar, it's bad for you.
Do you think that proteins and complex carbohydrates are healthy?
Well, I think they are, but some people have food allergies, don't they? I myself, I have food allergies. I have to be careful what I eat. So, although certain foods they say are good for you, if you have an allergy, then they're not so good. Like, for example, nuts, they can be lethal to people.
They can, for some people. But do you think that having some kind of monounsaturated or polyunsaturated fats can be healthy?
They can, in moderation.
Outstanding.